Federal judge in Rhode Island today issued a temporary injunction against the Trump administration, preventing them from dismantling three different federal agencies. And this was led by 20 states that filed a court case, sued the administration, saying this is an overstep of presidential power. There are separation of powers. There are also other laws in place about how you have to go about eliminating federal agencies and what this process looks like. You can't just do it with an executive order and the stroke of a pen and do it in a couple of days. The judge agreed, said it looks like the plaintiffs in this case are going to succeed on the merits of their case. Now, what agencies were going to be affected? Well, the Institute of Museum and Library Services, the Minority Small Business Program, and the Mediation and Conciliation Service, which helps handle labor disputes. Now, what does this mean for the Trump administration? Well, it means they lose again. Donald Trump continues to lose. He continues to get told by the courts that you can't do this, you can't do that. Now, Donald Trump, for his part, is probably going to come out against this particular judge and saying that they're a bad judge. The rulings, need to stop. They like to threaten judges and everything else. If you're constantly getting ruled against, maybe it's not the judges that are the problem, especially when it's coming from all over the country. Maybe it is you that is the problem. What you're trying to do is wrong. Now, there are steps that they could take to actually eliminate these programs if they truly believe they need to happen. But that would take acts of Congress. That would take them passing actual bills and doing things like that, not just an executive order and a stroke of a pen. But Donald Trump doesn't want to do it that way. He wants to sidestep Congress because he knows they can't get most of this stuff through Congress right now. They only have a thin majority in the House of Representatives. And with having such a thin majority, they also don't have the votes in the Senate to get around the filibuster. So for a lot of this, they're not going to be able to get it done because they're going to need Democratic support. And there's just not interest on the Democratic side to do some of these things. So Donald Trump loses again. Another judge tells him, no, it's not going to happen. I expect it to be appealed. The appellate court will probably side with the lower court on this one, ultimately ending up before the Supreme Court. We will have to see, of course, when it gets there, how the Supreme Court rules. Now, the Supreme Court is ending the end of their term, or nearing the end of their term. They don't have very many cases left this session, so they probably won't even hear that before into next session, which would be end of the year, early next year at the earliest.